Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 718. I'm Salvatore Casio, along with my co-host Charlie, and our guest speaker of the day, Mr. Blanchard. How are you guys?
What's up? What's up?
You doing, Blanche?
How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah. So today there's a lot of news. Not really other than the NFL with a lot of the games being played. More off-season speculation and off-season review. So first thing we're going to start with is the Mets. Mets in close talks with James McCann at the moment right now. Springer rumors floating in the air. Bauer rumors in the air.
No clue.
What's going to happen? What do you guys think?
I've been consistent. I think they get McCann and Springer, and I think it ends there. I don't think there's a chance Bauer goes. I don't. But I mean, you're like I'm not a Mets fan. I don't have the same kind of opinions you do. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm a Yankees fan as well. So, I'm not hoping Bauer goes to the Mets. I'm one of those New York fans where I don't really root against any New York teams. I'll root for everything. So I won't be sad if Bauer goes to the Mets. But I don't know. I haven't been too keen on the Yankees off-season off-season plays so far. So, Cohen seems like he's being active, and more power to him. Honestly, I wish the Yankees were as active as him right now.
Yeah, just
I think the only way to judge Cohen versus the Yankees front office will be at the end, because you can't praise Cohen for speculation. Like if he comes out. If he comes out of the offseason with McCann and Springer and maybe a Bauer, maybe a Real Muto, I don't know. Then and
He's
the
making a lot of noise right now. Like
yeah,
and
he's
the
definitely making a lot of noise.
it's
maybe
like
come back with Hap and Tanaka, then obviously you have to give credit where credit is due, and then Cohen would have been better. But I'm not looking to judge the two of them until it's over.
Yeah, so
right now it's all noise, and when we actually see pen to paper, that'll be interesting.
at least what I've been hearing from like a lot of the Mets journalists that I follow, like according to I think it might have been Andy Martino, but the Met Steve Cohen specifically wants to sign George Springer, while Sandy Alderson is more keen on signing Bauer. So there's a little bit of a decision process to go through there. But I saw a tweet not too long ago that right now the Mets don't have any real like close negotiations with Springer, and we're more focused on signing McCann to like a long deal. But
Yeah, I think McCann will be the first domino to fall, and I as well as like Springer to the Mets news. I've been seeing a lot of Springers to Toronto rumors. I
mhm.
don't know if you guys have as well, and I'm not sure that will ever materialize. But I ironically, like I feel like Bauer, like besides just like talks with a lot of teams, I feel like he's been kind of quiet. Like as someone who's so outspoken about like where he wants to play and what he wants to do, like I feel like everything's relatively quiet around where he's gonna go.
I feel like it's quiet because like there's so many teams like supposedly in the mix for him. Like
Yeah, no, I know that. Apparently, Cashman had dinner with him last week in Darien, Connecticut. But I don't want Bauer at the Yankees. I don't.
really?
Nah, he's beef with Garrett Cole. I'm worried he'd screw up our.
Nah, that's just. I think that's water under the bridge now.
I think like when it at least
Not what I want. Like I don't think he's the kind of character that we need.
if we're talking about the Mets specifically, the like my two ideal signings would probably be if I had to pick two that I'd be perfectly fine with. I'd be fine with Springer and McCann. Like potentially someone else, some bullpen help. I mean Bauer ideally would be great, but like honestly, I would not empty the bag for Real Muto for 200 mil.
I wouldn't either. Not at all.
McCann batted like almost 300 this year. He was an all-star last year. He's great behind the plate. Like I think he's a
I
fine
think
signing.
I think McCann is way better value for
Yeah.
for any Real Madrid. So
Absolutely.
I think you get more for your money.
Yeah. In the Yankees world, though, I've been seeing a lot about DJ LeMahieu. You think that's all fluff, or is he going to stay?
I think he comes back.
You better come back.
It's like no, like the thing is, everyone's like, yeah, Yankees won't give him 5 years. He wants 5 years. Nobody's giving him 5 years. Nobody. He's had talks with Toronto. He's had talks with Washington. Nobody wants to give him 5 years. Yankees right now apparently are offering 2. Washington is offering 3, but he wants to stay in New York. Like if he wants the deal from the Yankees. I don't think we should give him 5. I think it'd be a mistake.
Mhm.
I think we should give him 3. I think 3 is the perfect amount. But we're
I would
sticking.
say 4, but I mean he's been so good for us. Literally like the centerpiece of our team. not Judge or not Stanton. Like he's been literally the centerpiece.
He absolutely deserves the money.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I completely agree.
I think he definitely, at least at the start of the offseason, he definitely wanted to be a Yankee. But now I don't know. His emotions might be changing because they're not like completely set on bringing him back.
Yeah, I think definitely, like if he got the same offer from every team, the one that he wanted, he would choose the Yankees. But I also think that he thought that by now the Yankees would have given him that because I think he deserves it. Like he's been exactly what the Yankees have needed and more. As someone who was brought in to maybe like be a rotational middle infielder to making an MVP run in 2 years, like that's I don't know what else we could have asked for, and I think it'd be such a mistake to not bring him back, especially when we have so many home run strikeout hitters in our lineup. I think he's just the kind of guy we need.
Yeah, I completely
we
agree.
need more guys who hit for average than people who hit home runs every 10 at bats, and that's all they get.
Yeah,
home runs aren't falling.
I did see though that earlier today that Luke Voigt apparently would bet a lot of money that DJ LeMahieu does stay with the Yankees.
Yeah, he said he'd bet like his salary this year that LeMahieu stays, but like I would hope so. Like
I really want the Yankees to just run it back with their hitters that they have, like, and just sign one more pitcher. Like,
I think we need to do something about shortstop. Gleyber Torres' fielding percentage went way down, moving from second short, way down, and his batting average went down. He was just bad last year. He just wasn't that good. He had a really good series against the Indians, but most of the regular season he just wasn't very good. If we stay with this current infield, I would probably try to shuffle things around. I think I'd move LeMahieu to third. Voit at first. I'd maybe move Urshela to short and have Gleyber at second. I kind of like that because I think Gleyber was much more reliable at second. And Urshela played some short in Cleveland. We know we can do it. LeMahieu can play third. So I think that would be our best infield, but I just don't think that's how Boone assesses those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem was pitching. I mean, the Yankees were scoring you got to win baseball games if you score 6, 7, 8 runs. Like, you just have to win those games. You can't lose games 10-9 like the Yankees would lose sometimes. It's really frustrating.
I mean, it's normally that I think if you score 4 runs, you should win the game.
Yeah, I agree with that philosophy, honestly. And, I'm kind of surprised with how, quiet the Yankees have been in, the free agency market. I just don't see that many headlines coming up. And one of the things that, Lance, you mentioned before we got on the call was that you actually wanted Cashman out.
My hot take is that if DJ doesn't come back to the Yankees, I want him out. Because, we've had 3 seasons in a row where we've been contenders, and literally nothing has been done at the trade deadline. Like, we had a chance to add one more arm this season in 2020. Didn't take that opportunity, lost the race last season.
I think the biggest miss was not capitalizing on getting Stroman at the deadline because Yankees wanted him. He wanted to go to the Yankees. He went to the Mets. He wanted to go to the Yankees. I think we blew that. But I don't feel like him and Boone are on the same page. Like he refuses to move on guys like Frazier and Andujar, and I like both of them. And I think they have futures in the lineup. But then when Aaron Boone isn't playing them, if Aaron Boone doesn't value Andujar, when he's bringing up Ford instead of Andujar consistently to be that bad off the bench, why are we keeping Andujar then? Why are we doing it?
Clint needs to be. I feel bad for Clint, honestly. He needs to be on a different team.
He would easily start in the Mets lineup at the moment right now. I think he could easily start. He could start a majority of the MLB's lineups. And I just want to say one thing. I completely agree with you. Just from an outsider, he definitely screwed you guys over in the trade deadline. I remember not this season, the last season at the trade deadline. I remember specifically watching the clock go down. I was like, are they going to get Zach Greinke before the deadline? And what are they doing? They signed a double-A pitcher from the Rockies. That's terrible. You guys were in the playoff push, and then you guys lose to the Astros.
The last move we made.
Greinke has a no Yankee trade clause in his contract. He hates the Yankees. He'll never go there. But I'll just say I feel like I think Frazier will start. and I have no problem with us like being diligent and not wanting to overpay. But then like we're not going to overpay with these assets. We have to use them. There's no point in having them sit in our farm system. If we're not going to use them to help us now, go out and get someone who will. And like because we have the assets to do so. Like if you like fast forward like 2 years back, like Frazier and Andujar were high up on like MLB prospect charts. We could have moved them on for serious pitching talent. I'm also worried that like we're letting Canely walk because like with Tommy John and everything. Who's the reliever we're bringing in? I don't see it.
Mulder's gone too.
Clearly, Boone lost all trust in Ottavino, and I don't blame him. He imploded in the Astros a few years ago and was never the same. But like, I don't see the arms that we're putting in. Like, are we putting more faith in Sessa? Like, no, I hope not.
Yeah, like back to Cashman not making enough moves. Like the last free agency, trade deadline acquisition we made was what, Sonny Gray? Like,
yeah, I mean, the rumors right now that we're going to go back for him because I mean, there were a lot of problems with Sonny Gray. But
he was terrible for the Yankees. He obviously came back in recent years, but
I thought that was going to be move. I thought that was going to be the move that would put us over the edge. I thought it was an excellent move.
It could just be that New York bug, though. People get nervous when they play in New York. Look at Edwin Diaz.
Pitchers come to
ERA out of New York is under 4. ERA in New York over 6.
Yeah.
Like it just can't. But like that can't happen. He's dropped a slider, which Larry Rothschild made him add, which I think was a bad move. And
another great example of that is Lance Lynn.
Oh, Lance Lynn, yeah, he was
loved in New York. He was like one of the top pitchers in the AL last year.
Oh, I don't miss him. Like Sonny Gray, I think there may be something redeemable. Like Lance Lynn, I just think is bad.
I feel that totally. Let's move on to the NBA world. KYRIE coming back refuses media coverage after sitting out of the NBA bubble after getting surgery. What are your thoughts on that?
He needs to grow up. He's not like the big dog anymore. And like he left the Celtics because he wasn't. Like he left the Celtics because like Jason Tatum was better than him. And like now he's going to another team where he's not the star. He can't just do whatever he wants. Like he has to be a part of a team for once. Like I don't understand it.
Yeah, he's a lot of talk. Honestly, I think he just likes to stir up. News for him. Some of the things he says are just like, all right, it's like he's like the Antonio Brown of the NBA. He just says things,
Yeah,
and he's like, all right, KYRIE.
I feel like finally everyone's like, all right, like we're finally going to see a happy KYRIE. Like KYRIE's where he wants to be. It's going to be a different person. I don't see a different person. He's doing the same antics that he's done everywhere he's been.
You know who he kind of reminds me of? Remember Marshawn Lynch before like press conferences when he wouldn't speak to the press and he'd just be like, I'm just here so I won't get fined, and then get like a huge fine. I think it's like completely abysmal if you're a superstar, because KYRIE's one of the faces of the NBA. Like he might not be the best player on his team, but like he's a notable face in the NBA. And for you not to speak to the media is like bad.
I don't think KYRIE's top 10 in the league.
No, I'm not saying top 10, but people who vaguely know about the NBA know who Kyrie Irving is.
He's a very marketable player.
Yes.
But, like, I don't know. I just think like he needs to put his money where his mouth is. Like I think like I like KYRIE. I think he's a good player, but like I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way. Like what are you doing? Like you're finally where you want to be. You're getting paid tons of money. Like show up to a press conference or two. Like what's the like? I don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like KYRIE with the media. I don't like that he takes a lot of games off every season. Some new injury that he has.
Like that's what he says. He takes games off, and then like we'll go do an interview after the game, just sitting on the bench and blame other people for losing. Like you would be on the court.
I was proud of the Nets this last season, dude. They without KYRIE or KD basically the whole time. Like,
hard.
I mean, with Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie really carried that team. Torian Prince, another great piece, and Jared Allen kind of working into his own right now. I really like the Nets. I like them.
Very high ceiling. It's just about getting like a little bit more refined.
Not sure at all why they fired Kenny Atkinson, but What do you think about Steve
I think
Nash?
they just want something new. Like I think it's just like a new toy. Let's go get Steve Nash and hope that he's like
Yeah.
fab.
I mean, that might have been like a Kyrie and KD thing too. Like, oh, we want a new coach. Like, get him out.
Yeah, that probably was it.
Kenny Atkinson was a fantastic coach. He had 0 superstars, and he led that team to the playoffs. Like,
I know. I think it's KD. He's good friends with Steve Nash, and I think he
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, I just signed a big deal here. Can you go get me my coach?" And
How do you guys feel about Russ moving into the East Coast?
yeah, whatever. Like it's a non-deal for me. Like
Yeah.
I think it's actually I think I'm more intrigued to see what Houston does.
Yeah, me too, actually. They have that first round pick now too, right?
I don't care what Washington does. I don't think that Russell Westbrook makes Washington that much better. Like maybe he pushes them to like a 7 seed, 6 seed. But like if like any even if they like do well in the regular season, like I don't think they're good enough to like make a real run in the East. And I think that like if John Wall can get back to John Wall's best, I think that like a John Wall, James Harden backcourt like is actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I think Russ, he just shoots way too much, bro. His field goal percentage this last year was just god awful.
It would have been an awful deal for the Knicks, and I'm happy they avoided it. Would have been an awful deal.
The Nets?
It would have been an awful deal for both. But he was like, I think Harden would have been a bad deal for the Nets because they would have had to give up Dinwiddie, Gilbert, and draft capital.
No, I mean the Rockets wouldn't even taken a deal if they didn't get Kyrie or KD, and
Yeah.
obviously that's not happening. So
I was just looking at like trade proposals, and I think that Russ to the Knicks would be an awful idea. Awful. The squad isn't built to like contend at all right now. So we would just be fast tracking future to get Russell Westbrook in who's just gonna shoot 40 shots a game. Like
maybe get us to an 8 seed, maybe.
It's not worth it. It's
Yeah.
not worth it. I'm believing in the slow process.
Yeah, you really gotta you have to gut out that team. You have to gut out that team and just start over.
I think this is an exceptional offseason by the Knicks, and I get a lot of hate for that. I think it's for once they did not screw anything up. Like Miles Powell, Emmanuel Quickly, Obi Toppin, good picks. I'm fine with that. I mean, undrafted Miles Powell, but like added some good young players.
The Knicks did have a good draft, but they haven't like
overrated role players to bad long-term contracts. I like everything that I've seen.
They're like not even close to a playoff team though.
Like, they don't need. They're gonna be bad again next year.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter.
I don't know. They still fill seats though, which is crazy. Like people go.
Like I feel bad for the Nets. Like the Nets are going to be good, and like even if there were fans, would struggle to fill the Barclays Center.
Oh yeah, and the tickets would cost more at MSG anyway. So like,
they're gonna put the prices at Barclays this year a lot.
Yeah, definitely. But MSG is MSG. The Knicks could be the worst team in the NBA, and you could go to I don't know, almost you could go to the Staples Center for the same price.
I mean,
I just wondering like how much would the Knicks be worth if they were good? Like it's been what 9 years since the playoffs, and they're the most valuable NBA franchise by like.
Were they $4 billion, right?
Yeah, like over $4 billion. Like I think the Warriors.
The Knicks are not going to be good as long as Dolan's there. Literally, they're not going to be good.
He's not going to sell. Why would he?
Nobody wants to come to. It's the biggest basketball city in the world, and nobody wants to come. It's insane.
Nobody wants to come. That's why you got to build young. You got to build a young generation that is proud to be a Knick. You know what I mean? Like that isn't just going there for the money. You got to get young guys in that want to fight for the Knicks. And I think they're starting to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Giants making the playoffs, is that still a thing?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Even with the schedule, and the football team beating the Steelers.
I mean, I just don't see anybody else in the. It's not like it's not more as like the Giants are gonna win the NFC East. It's more like the other 3 teams are just gonna lose it. Like the Eagles are so bad, they're gonna have to spend 2 or 3 weeks figuring out Jalen Hurts. Like they're not gonna. They might have like a Miami situation where they like go back to Matt Fitzpatrick, or they might go back to Carson Wentz in like 2 weeks. Like, oh, Jalen Hurts. Like they're gonna have to figure something out quick.
Usually have Carson Wentz to the Colts. I wonder how that would be. I don't know. Like, the thing with Wentz is like his mechanic. Like, have you ever watched him throw? Like his mechanics have broken down.
Max Kellerman said that Wentz's career is over, done,
Yeah,
not coming back again.
Wentz is a bust. I was never the biggest fan of Wentz out of college, but like he definitely proved me wrong. Like I'm not gonna lie and say he was always bad, but like I think he's bad now.
I mean, I always liked Goff over Wentz, honestly. Coming
I
up.
liked Goff over Wentz, but I wasn't the biggest fan of Goff either. I didn't think it was a great quarterback class. I just wasn't. I wasn't too impressed.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think Goff is better. I still think Goff is better, but I think Goff is like a system game manager at best. Like, I think
Honestly, the Rams have been on the decline since. I mean, they had Todd Gurley last year, but they did not run the ball effectively with him last year at all. Like when they were good,
Wasn't he hurt last year for like a little bit?
yeah, I guess, but like they just didn't run the ball effectively. Like they were so dominant when like Todd Gurley was like, I had Todd Gurley in fantasy 2 years ago, and he was like number one. He was going off like 20 a game. It was insane. Like that's when they were good. Like when they established the run. Now their run game is trash. They
I like Cam Akers. I think he's gonna be good.
Yeah, I agree. I was watching a lot of him this week, and he actually had a really good game.
Cam Akers has been picking up some speed.
I do like. I drafted him in fantasy like way too high, but
no, I'm not saying that Cam Akers is ever going to be those like 2 years of Todd Gurley level, but I think he's going somewhere.
Well, if you guys are both so high on the Giants, do you think there's any chance that they win a playoff game if they do make the playoffs?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. That's a really hot take.
Oh, I'm not saying they will absolutely win a playoff game. I'm just saying I think there's absolutely a chance that they win a playoff game.
Yeah, I mean it's the playoffs. They're gonna. The Giants' defense is actually very solid. Very love the Giants' defense. Their offense. I mean, Danny Dimes. When they get them going, it's a sight to see. But then he just like he has no awareness of the blind side, and he just like fumbles so much.
Andrew Thomas has had his best 2 games since Mark Colombo got fired. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not, but I think our offensive line has looked so much better since he's been gone. I don't know why, but I've been very impressed. But like I was saying, I don't think the Giants will win a playoff game. I don't.
Okay.
It's definitely possible. I think like the way the team is built, they're a team that can beat anyone and lose to anyone.
I love Gallman right now. You like Gallman has been going off.
Alfred Morris have been impressed with too. Alfred Morris has done a good job.
I was actually kind of upset because I started Gallman in fantasy. I picked him up. He's been literally like he's been eating for me.
Yeah.
And he went off for like 130 yards this against the Seahawks this week, and Alfred Morris got the 2 touchdowns. I was like, but I mean, a solid effort from the backfield for the Giants, especially with Saquon out.
I give Jason Garrett so much credit for even after losing the star running back being committed to the run, because he is like and now we're one of the best rushing teams in the NFL. He's been committed to the run. I give him so much credit.
2 of the running backs. We lost Devonta too.
Well, I mean, he was nothing special. Like, I was excited when we brought him in. I wasn't impressed.
He was not back to his his Falcon days. But.
Yeah.
How about the Jets?
Yeah, I was about to say, how about those Jets?
I was
Greg, that is great. That is the most blatant tanking I've ever seen. It has never once happened in the history of the NFL that a team is sent 8 in a blitz with long to go to win the game. It's never happened before.
I was screaming at the TV the play before when Aguilar beat them deep and he was wide open and Carr just overthrew him.
Oh my, Carr had such a bad game. Carr had.
At that play, I was screaming at the TV. I'm like, they have literally 2 shots to throw Hail Marys. Okay, how do you get beat deep? Like how? Like that better not happen again. And then they're throwing the very next play. They're throwing single coverage, no safety help over the top.
Yeah.
There's not a Jet jersey in sight. I'm like,
I think Joe Douglas called down from his suite. He was like, Greg, we got a tank. Like, no way. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm convinced that the Jaguars are tanking. Like, I'm actually convinced they go for 2 on the opening drive that they score, and don't get it like every single time. Like, what analytics are you using? That makes zero sense. Like, and it gets me mad watching the Jaguars because they throw.
The stench of an 0-16 team, though, like I don't want that Lions 0-16 stench on the Jets record. Like that's just something you can.
I would like.
I take it to get Trevor Lawrence. I'm sorry.
I would like the Jets to win a game.
1-15 is so much better than 0-16.
So then Trevor Lawrence goes to the Jaguars on some weird tiebreaker.
That'd be terrible. That'd be terrible. He
But,
doesn't. He doesn't belong in Jacksonville.
If he doesn't belong in New York, he's a Southern boy.
No, he's gotten media coverage his entire life. Like
I mean, Jacksonville's like a non-franchise. Like,
yeah, he was like a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. Like people have had him like on their radar for so long. Like he deserves to be in New York.
I have a question. If the Jets end up with the second pick, do you take Justin Fields or do you stick with Darnold?
Stick with Darnold. Sadly. Listen, and hear me. You disagree?
I don't think it makes a difference. They don't have the pieces to win.
I say you trade. I say you trade down. I say you trade down if you don't get the number 1 pick. And hear me out. Sam Darnold isn't that bad. Like if you saw him in that Raiders game, like he was pouring his heart and soul out in that game. And
he tries.
Yeah, a part of me feels bad because the entire organization wants him to lose, and he just wants to get a win. Like the entire organization wants him to lose for Trevor Lawrence, and even the Jets fans. Like I was screaming. Like I was seconds away from burning my Sam Darnold jersey. Like literally seconds away.
The moment I felt bad for Sam Darnold was when my Boston College graduate, Jeff Smith, who was the starting quarterback at Boston College my freshman year, turned wide receiver. He actually started for the Jets, and I was like, oh my God, poor Sam Darnold. He has literally nobody. Like, it was – the Jets are like – I mean, even if they get Trevor, like, he's not going to be an instant savior. They need so much help, like so much help.
We have two additional first-round picks from the Seahawks in the next 2 years, which personally I'd like to target receiver like Rondale Moore potentially. And I mean, I think that'd be a great addition to them.
Definitely need a receiver.
Yeah.
We need a lot of things.
I think everything starts on O-line. I would go O-line.
I agree. O-line. I think Mekhi Becton has been a really good
We also need a running back.
That is true. We need a lot of things. Look,
you need everything.
Saying that,
with like,
even if like I would. No, I know if you get one, you're going to take Trevor Lawrence. But if Joe Douglas got one and traded down for tons of picks, like I would understand it.
I would understand it too. But I think it's clear that he wants Trevor Lawrence. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I understand that too. But I think if you get 2, trading down is a smart idea.
I see Sam Darnold right now as Ryan Tannehill on the Miami Dolphins. Like he could easily just come back on a different team and like have a good season like Ryan Tannehill.
I mean, I'm a little biased. I was never a fan of him out of USC. I'm like I was vocally not a fan, so like I'm kind of enjoying like sort of being right. But I just like I'm not a Sam Darnold fan.
He's not as good as that other Jets quarterback out of USC.
Yeah. I was wrong about that draft class though. I thought that Josh Rosen was going to be the best QB in that class. So like I'll hold the L.
Where is he even at?
He's on the waivers right now.
Yeah.
He got cut by the Dolphins, was on the Browns practice squad. I think on the Browns practice squad, got cut. So yeah, he's done.
He was talking all that hot too.
Yeah, he was what, 9 mistakes, 10 mistakes?
Yeah, nine mistakes. I'll prove them wrong. Listen, so this week, Blanche and Charlie, what are your picks in least the most confident order?
Oh, go ahead, Sean.
We'll go one by one. Who's your least confident?
I like the Chargers plus 2.5 over the Falcons. I like it. I know the Chargers just got smashed by the Patriots, and I think that is probably the nail in the coffin for Anthony Lynn's job. But I think that I really like Justin Herbert. I think he has a really talented receiving tight end core. I like what they do on defense. I think the Chargers are a good football team. They're just being poorly coached. So I like the Chargers here.
I'm gonna take the Browns. Yeah, finish.
Yeah, I don't know if I like the Dolphins. +7 over the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are bound. Like I feel like the Chiefs are going to lose, and I think that the Dolphins are the team to do it. Love what they do on defense, and I don't think Tua is not an exceptional quarterback, but he doesn't turn the ball over. He's going to be smart with the ball. He's going to manage the game. If they can run the ball, not turn the ball over, and play good defense, I don't see why the Dolphins can't win that game. And then lastly, Giants over the Cardinals. It's happening. It's happening. I like the Giants there. Russell Wilson was limited to a minimal running display. I think if we can do that, same thing with Kyler Murray. I like James Bradbury against Hopkins. I think that can work. And yeah, I like how the Giants match up against the Cardinals offense.
I like the Browns against the Ravens. Browns have been real hot the last 2 games. Ravens, I mean, they beat the Cowboys pretty handily, but like they didn't look that great doing it. I don't know. I think you take a chance with the Browns plus 1.5. I like the Colts beating the Raiders by more than 3. I mean, Raiders just got gifted a win from the Jets, who are awful. And I think the Colts are a solid team. Might make the playoffs if the Titans fall down. Even could go for a wild card. So I like the Colts. I think they need this win. So I think they're gonna beat the Raiders by more than 3. And I like the Texans. They're playing kind of Deshaun Watson been going off. I have him in fantasy also. I know he doesn't have Fuller anymore, but
I'm not sure Kiki Cootie can fill that role consistently.
yeah, I don't think so either. But the Bears have lost 5 in a row. The Bears are awful right now. I think they've lost 5 or 6 in a row.
But Sal, who you got?
Yeah. First pick, I'm taking the Cowboys over the Bengals. Pretty self-explanatory. Bengals don't have Burrow. Like, there's no hope there. Their backup quarterback got hurt last game. Next, Titans over Jaguars. Their performance was abysmal. Jaguars are tanking. And then finally, I'm taking Kyler Murray and the Cardinals over the Giants. And I think it's possible. The Cardinals are also fighting for a spot. So that's
Not for me.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Thank you, Blanche, for coming.
Bye, Blanche. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Signing off.